The text of the genuine speech, Mohammed VI on the occasion of the glorious Throne Day, which marks the 22nd anniversary of Her Majesty's accession to the throne of her blessed ancestors. Praise God, and prayers and peace be with our Master, God's messenger, and his family and his companions. Dear people, the Feast of the Throne, whose 22nd anniversary we celebrate today with pride, is more than an occasion to celebrate our enthronement on the throne. It embodies the sacred ties of loyalty and the strong cohesion that always unites the kings and sultans of Morocco with their people, in all circumstances and conditions. Morocco is an ancient state and a united nation, whose roots lie deep in history. And Morocco is a strong national unit, and the consensus of its components on its sanctities. He is strong in his institutions, energies and competencies of his children, and his work in their development and progress, and in defending their unity and stability. It is this renewed and continuous human and civilizing balance that has allowed our country to face challenges and overcome difficulties throughout its long and modern history. Dear people, from the outset, we want to renew our expressions of gratitude to the actors in the health, public, private and military areas, as well as to the security forces and public authorities, for the dedication and spirit of responsibility they have shown, in the face of the epidemic of COVID-19. It is a difficult stage for tasks, for me personally and for my family, like the rest of the citizens, because when I see Moroccans suffer, I feel the same pain, and I share the same feeling with them. Although this epidemic has negatively affected economic projects and activities, and the material and social conditions of many citizens, we have tried to find solutions to reduce the effects of this emergency. Since the emergence of this epidemic, we have started a private fund to mitigate its repercussions, which has been spontaneously received by the public. We also launched an ambitious plan to reactivate the economy, supporting affected small and medium enterprises, preserving employment and the purchasing power of families, providing direct material assistance. And we created the Mohammed Investment Fund 6 to promote productive activities, and to accompany and finance various investment projects. Dear people, today we have the right to be proud of the success of Morocco in the battle for the vaccine, which is not easy, as well as the good development of the national vaccination campaign and the broad participation of citizens in it. Believing that health sovereignty is a central element to achieve the strategic security of the country, we have launched a pioneering project in the field of manufacturing vaccines, medicines and necessary medical supplies in Morocco. Despite the task, feed to point out that the epidemic is still present and that the emergency is still ongoing. Tasks must remain vigilant and respect the directives of the public authorities in this regard. Dear people, thanks to this collective national effort, the national economy is registering positive indicators, on the way to recovering its full capacities. This situation has been reinforced, praise to God, by the results of the good agricultural season that God has granted us. What contributes to provide the national agricultural product, and to spread a spirit of tranquility among citizens. This imminent development occurs in a promising context, after the Special Commission presented the development model of its proposals, which allow the launching of a new stage, to accelerate the economic takeoff and consolidate the social project that we want for our country. The committee made a constructive and commendable effort, and a patriotic work, in which the vital forces of the nation participated, including political parties, economic, trade union and social organizations, common society and a number of citizens. As was the case in the preparation stage, we consider the implementation of this model a national responsibility that requires the participation of all the energies and powers of the nation, especially those that will assume governmental and public responsibilities in the coming years. We aspire that the National Pact for Development constitutes a framework of reference of development principles and priorities, and an economic and social contract that lays the foundations of a new revolution for the king and the people. As custodian of the interests of the country and citizens, we will make sure to keep pace with this discharge, with the necessary procedures and mechanisms. Dear people, parallel to its development initiatives, internally, Morocco is ready, with the same determination, to continue its sincere efforts to consolidate security and stability in its African and Euro-Mediterranean environment, especially in its vicinity of the Maghreb. Believing in this direction, we renew the sincere call to our brothers in Algeria to work together, unconditionally, to build bilateral relations based on trust, dialogue and good neighborliness. This is because the real state of these relations does not satisfy us, it is not in the interest of our peoples and it is not accepted by many countries. My conviction is that the opening of borders is the typical situation between two neighboring countries and two sister peoples. Because closing the borders is inconsistent with a normal right and an authentic legitimate principle enshrined in international agreements, including the Marrakesh Treaty that founds the Arab Maghreb Union, which provides for the freedom of movement of people and the movement of services, goods and capital between their countries. I have expressed it frankly since 2008, and I have underlined it several times, on task because neither His Excellency the genuine Algerian President, nor even the former President, nor I, are responsible for the decision to close. But we are politically and morally responsible for its continuation, before God, risk history and bet our fellow citizens. There is no reasonable logic that can explain the real situation, on task because the reasons for the closure of the borders have been annulled and today they no longer have any acceptable justification. We do not want to blame anyone, nor do we give lessons to anyone, rather, we are brothers, separated by a foreign body, which has no place between us. As for what some say, that opening the borders will only bring guys and problems to Algeria, or to Morocco, this is not true. This discourse cannot be believed by anyone, especially in the period of communication and modern technologies. Closed borders do not cut off communication between the two peoples, but rather contribute to closing minds, affected by what some media promote, from false thesis, that Moroccans suffer from poverty and live off smuggling and drugs. Anyone can confirm that these accusations are not true, on the task of an Algerian community living in our country, and roughage Algerians from Europe, and from within Algeria, who visit Morocco, and know the truth of things. I assure our brothers in Algeria here that evil and problems will never come to them from Morocco, nor will any danger or threat come from there. Because what touches you touches us and what hits you hurts us. Therefore, we consider that the security and stability of Algeria, and the tranquility of its people, lie between the security and stability of Morocco. And vice versa, what affects Morocco will also affect Algeria. Because I am like a body. Because Morocco and Algeria suffer together the problems of immigration, smuggling, drugs and human trafficking. The gangs that do this are our genuine and common enemy. And if we work together to combat it, we can limit its activity and dry up its sources. On the other hand, we regret the media and diplomatic tensions in relations between Morocco and Algeria, which damage the image of the two countries and leave a negative impression, especially in international forums. Therefore, we call for the logic of wisdom and higher interests to prevail, to overcome this deplorable situation, which wastes the energies of our two countries and contradicts the ties of love and brotherhood between our peoples. Morocco and Algeria are more than two neighboring countries, they are complementary twins. Therefore, I call upon His Excellency the Algerian President to work together, at the earliest time he deems appropriate, to develop the fraternal relations that our two peoples built through years of common struggle. Dear people, we take advantage of this glorious occasion, to pay tribute and recognition to tasks the components of the Royal Armed Forces, Royal Gendarmerie, National Security, Auxiliary Forces and Civil Protection, for their dedication and permanent mobilization, under our leadership, to safeguard the unity of the nation and sovereignty, and to maintain its security and stability. We also remember, with all sincerity, the souls and sacrifices of our honorable ancestors, led by our grandfather and our blessed father, His Majesty King Mohammed VI, His Majesty King Hassan II. May God rest their souls, and task the righteous martyrs from the native country. The Almighty said, "If God knows good in His hearts, He will give good to them." Great truth of God, peace be with you and God's